everybody, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is the daily show where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is your editor-in-chief for AMC Movie News, John Campia.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the AMC Movie News studios here in Burbank, California. And I cannot help but wonder if Sinead ever actually uses that pocket on her shirt. That's an interesting thing there. I'm just curious.
I don't.
Okay, just
I don't. But I will now. I will use it now, yes. Also here is writer-director John Schnepp.
I don't know what they're talking about. I was up till 6:30 mixing my film, but I'm here now because I'm part robot.
And AMC's Mark Ellis.
I was up till 6:30 too, mixing my film. Yeah, I was mixing my movie.
Hey, folks, listen. Before we get rolling, yesterday we did a little preview bumper. We're gonna just want to mention it again too. Obviously, a lot of you guys are aware of what is going on in Nepal and the surrounding countries with the tragedy there. Just check below. I'm going to put up a number here below that you can text the word Nepal to this number, and you will automatically donate $10 to the relief efforts going on in Nepal. And thank you for being aware and for contributing and trying to help people around the world. Thank you very much.
In a recent interview, Captain America actor Chris Evans revealed some details that many of us have speculated over the past few months. Evans shared that the two upcoming Avengers Infinity Wars films will indeed be shot back-to-back starting late 2016 and will most likely go for about 9 months. The new Avengers Age of Ultron opens in AMC theaters this week. Schnepp, is it the right move for Marvel to shoot the two Infinity Wars movies back-to-back?
Finally, someone has come to reason. I've been talking about this for years. Just shoot them all at the same time. You know, it's like, I mean, James Cameron's the only guy who's like, yeah, shoot all of those avatars. Eventually, start shooting them sometime in the next decade. But when he does, they're all going to be shot at the same time. So I'm really happy to hear that both of those films will be shot at the same time. It just makes sense for continuity. You have all the actors there. Maybe they'll secretly shoot 4 Avengers movies. Who knows?
You know, here's the funny thing. This is such a good idea and such a look. I get why studios don't want to start a new franchise shooting 1 and 2 back to back, because what if you run into a situation like Aragorn, whatever the dragon one was, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna make 3. Let's start with the first one. Oh, it bombed.
Golden Compass is another one.
Yeah. So I understand that, but once you know you've got a proven property and it's going to work, if you've got your plans laid out, go ahead and shoot them back to back. And yesterday was another great reminder of why. Once again, going to the sports analogy thing, a lot of NBA teams don't like to let their players go and play in the Olympics because of what we saw the Indiana Pacers. I think George, right?
Paul George, yeah.
He blew out his leg or something like that.
It was not pretty to watch.
It was ugly.
What are you guys talking about?
What is this basketball thing? And so suddenly now off doing something else. And then yesterday we talked about that story about how, you know, I can't remember which studio it was, but James Mangold's getting ready to shoot his new film with Christian Bale and Peter Dinklage. And Christian Bale's off shooting The Big Short, tears his ACL, and now his movie's on the shelf. So like on top of financially it makes sense because you'll save money if you shoot it all together. Continuity-wise, speed-wise, you got it in the can. But also, you never know what happens to your actors once they leave that set to go do other things. You hope they come back in a few months to shoot the next one, but you never know. Schnepp's always been right about this. This is the right way to do it, and I'm really glad they are.
Yeah, and with athletes, it's also written into their contract that you're not allowed to do certain things. Like you can't go skiing on a double black diamond and stuff like that. Wow. I'm not sure how actors' contracts work like that when they're part of a big franchise. I agree with you guys that, yes, this is the way to shoot Infinity War. My only hesitation would be 9 months sounds like a long time to stay that physically in shape like that for those actors. I mean, especially when you're looking at Chris Evans as Captain America, he is shredded. Okay,
he looks great.
You have to maintain that shape for 9 months to be on camera. I know that they can, they work shooting schedules around. Hugh Jackman is cranking chicken breast into his gullet every 2 hours when he's on the set of an X-Men film, so he can still look like Wolverine. So when you hear that Joss Whedon was just so physically exhausted after shooting after shooting Age of Ultron, and now you're going to go back to back. It's a good thing that the Russo brothers are brothers. That there's 2 of them. That they can take
alternate.
They can have nap time between the 2 of them. So this is definitely the way to do this. You're right. It's a proven franchise. You know it's going to do great. This is how you shoot Infinity War.
All right, what's next?
Academy Award-winning cinematographer Andrew Lesnie passed away suddenly at the age of 59. Along with his work on Peter Jackson's 6 Middle-earth films, Lesnie shot notable movies such as Rise of the Planet of the Apes, King Kong, and Babe. Lesnie's final film was The Water Diviner with actor-director Russell Crowe, which is in AMC theaters now. John, your thoughts on Andrew Lesnie?
You know, when you think about the 6 Middle-earth films, you think about his Academy Award, you think about Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And look, I mean this wholeheartedly and sincerely. If you're going to try to walk out of M. Night's The Last Airbender and say, was there anything redeemable about that? It was shot beautifully. And he also did Last Airbender. This guy had an artistic eye. I mean, I never had the chance to meet him. I've never had a chance to interview him. So I don't know. All I know is that his movies were a pleasure to sit down and just see visually. We've lost a really great talent, and it's a sad day, Schnepp.
Yeah, I think cinematography is one of those parts of films and television that is usually behind the scenes. People never really talk about, man, the cinematographer was great. This is usually the actors or the writers or the directors or even the producers. But there's all these other people who are super important to every aspect of what film is. And we just lost a really great cinematographer. I mean, when you see Lord of the Rings and that lush cinematography, that is New Zealand. That was him being able to transform what Peter Jackson wanted to get and then make that a reality. A lot of the Lord of the Rings was shot practically, where they built sets into, you know, the Shire. I mean, all these things. But to create that magical feel, you had to be able to light it right. You had to shoot it right. You know, a lot of things go into cinematography, and not just lighting. It's also thinking through and what angle you're gonna shoot the actors, how you're gonna enter the frame. Things like that are all shot lists and things that go, all the work, the prep work that goes in to making a film. The cinematographer is there every step of the way, and he's really one of the key things to get going from script to the edit, making sure that you're capturing the image properly. So it's very sad to hear when a great cinematographer passes away.
Yeah, and while we were talking about films that are shot back to back, I mean, there's no better example of that than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
and
totally,
what he was able to do, one of my favorite shots of all time, not just in Lord of the Rings, in any movie, is the shot when Frodo is looking at the ring and the ring is going away from him and he sees it and he's realizing the power of this thing. A lot of that is due to the cinematographer. We always love to give the director credit for everything. Like when I saw Unbroken, I was like, man, Angelina Jolie did a great job. Then you start thinking about it and you're like, the cinematographer really helped her out with that. And I think that was a smart move by Russell Crowe to hire Leslie to do Water Diviner. When I saw Water Diviner, I liked the movie, but one of the best parts about it was seeing the landscapes like the Australian outback and Gallipoli and all these different places and the contrast of what he was able to do with that. And with something like I Am Legend, which he also did, being able to capture the tone of a film and the silence of it. And when you watch I Am Legend, there's these huge sweeping shots, and there's just nothing going on. When Will Smith is playing golf, it's an incredible thing to witness. So that guy was able to do things with special effects and with practical effects that you've never seen since.
You know, to draw back to tune out for a second, another sports analogy. A lot of times when an NFL
go
coach,
edit your movie or something.
When an NFL coach goes into a tune, the very first thing that they are looking to do is, what do I do with my quarterback position? That's always the thing. Getting his quarterback lined up. A lot of directors in Hollywood, the very first thing that they will do when they walk on is locking down their cinematographer. It's that key, and he was one of the best, and we lost a good one. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of us, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Sinead, what do you got?
When the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 hits AMC theaters on June 3rd, 2016, the Turtles are going to have to deal with a brand new Shredder. According to reports, veteran television actor Brian T. is taking over the role from Tohiro Masamune, who played the villain in the first film. T played Noboru in The Wolverine and has appeared in such shows as Grimm, Hawaii Five-0, and the popular Mortal Kombat Legacy as Liu Kang. Mark, do you buy or sell T becoming the new Shredder?
Yeah, the Drift King is the Shredder? Sure, I'll buy this. I mean, the star of the Shredder, especially this latest Ninja Turtles film that came out, the reason why the Shredder was so imposing, a lot of it was the costuming, because he looked scary. And by the way, when you watch that movie, Shredder beat the crap out of the Turtles. They got a lucky break when that, well, I won't give away what happened, but... Spoilers! The Shredder really got robbed in that one. And I don't know, I can't even remember, that's how much that film impacted me. What happened to Shredder at the end of that movie? If it was meant to look like the Turtles had defeated him, or he escapes somehow. I don't know if they're going to try to do what they did with Secret of the Ooze, where Shredder literally got killed in a trash compactor at the end of the first film, and then he just miraculously wakes up in a pile of trash, and he's fine again to become Super Shredder. So I think as far as the dude playing this Shredder goes, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I had no problems with who played MT. Let's just call him MT. With MT who played TM who played Shredder in the first film. I thought it was fine, but I really like Brian T a lot. Actually, one of my favorite shows going right now is Grimm. I watch. It's one of the very, very few shows that I'll watch every single week. I really get a kick out of Grimm, and his small part in Grimm, I think it was in season 1 or 2, he had this story arc going in. He was great in that. And he had the Drift King and all this kind of stuff. Just when he comes on, and he was just did a small part in Boston PD too. But when he's on screen, he brings what certain actors can bring. He brings an instant intensity onto the screen. And I think they could probably upgrade a little bit with Shredder. This is probably a good move. So yeah, I buy it.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I think he fell off a building in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes,
remember they're fighting on the
far.
skyscraper and anything.
But no spoilers.
Well, I didn't say he died. I'm not talking about the landing. I'm talking about the falling. So yeah, I think this guy is he's a good replacement. If you have to replace Shredder and you got to get another guy who's like super good at doing action crazy stuff, there you go. TMBT, bam.
Yeah, and it's cool to see the Shredder. What I hope we get to see with this new film is I want to see the Shredder if he's still alive. If he stuck the landing.
Spoilers.
They just casted him, so he's probably going to survive.
Mark, you're ruining the movie for everyone. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't want to hear about Shredder.
What I loved about Shredder, at least in the animated franchise, was that he was able to like recruit like Bebop and Rocksteady and get these other things involved. So,
are you saying that Bebop and Rock Scrabblies are in there?
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
No, they're in it.
You know what people don't talk enough about? You mentioned the fight he had with the Turtles. Mm-hmm. The Shredder Splinter fight in that movie, I thought was beautiful. I thought that just looked fantastic. I loved watching that fight. That was great.
We'll have to see that. I just remember the Turtles really didn't come to play. They didn't have their A game for most of that movie. And
Shredder schooled Splinter too.
He did?
Yeah, he schooled him a lot. Anyway, we're going far too much into TV. What's next?
According to a report in Variety, Parks and Recreation star Aubrey Plaza has joined the upcoming comedy Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Plaza joins Zac Efron, Workaholic star Adam Devine, and Anna Kendrick. The raunchy original comedy follows two brothers. Efron will play Mike, with Devine starring as Dave, who plays an online ad to find dates for a wedding, only to have the ad go viral. Schnepp, do you buy or sell the addition of Aubrey Plaza to Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates?
I totally buy it, and I especially buy that graphic. I hope that they shoot it, and it's all black and white, except Aubrey Plaza is in color, and they never explain it. It's like, why is it like Pleasantville? I don't know. They never went into it. It's like she's in an alternate color universe, and everything else is black and white, and then we do this dating thing. Yeah, I buy it. I like the idea.
Oh, I love it because I'm a little bit surprised, although I talk a lot about how, people who start off their careers as big major TV stars have a difficult time transitioning over. I think Aubrey Plaza is made for the movie screen. I really do. She put out a little comedy a couple of years ago that absolutely nobody went to go watch, but it was called The To-Do List. And I thought it was hilarious, and I thought it was the dirtiest movie with no nudity I've ever seen in my life. But I mean, I thought she was hilarious. She proved to me she could carry a film, and I think she's going to fit in. I think this cast is going to have terrific chemistry together. I really do. So for me, it's a buy.
It's a big buy for me. I'm a big Aubrey Plaza fan. I think she's going to be perfect for this role. I'm interested to see how this cast interacts, like what you said, John, because I'm a huge fan of everybody that you see in that graphic. I think that Adam Devine is if you've never seen him do stand-up, or you've never seen him, you don't know him just from anything other than Workaholics, he's great in Pitch Perfect, just like Anna Kendrick is too. So watching all of them interact, I think Aubrey Plaza is the perfect complement to that. She's also great at she doesn't have to dominate the screen all the time. She can blend into the background and let somebody else take center stage. So she's not going to be doing a bunch of pratfalls and physical work where she has to be the star of the film. She can let somebody else do what they do.
Adam is also really great in Modern Family. And oh man, I'd love to see Aubrey do a movie with Chris Pratt. Yeah. I'd love to see that chemistry again. All right, what's next?
A brand new and presumably final poster for the upcoming horror remake Poltergeist has hit the web. The new film stars Sam Rockwell, Rosemary DeWitt, and Jared Harris, and opens in AMC theaters in less than a month on May 22nd. John, buy or sell the poster for Poltergeist?
I gotta say, I think if you were going to tell me there's going to be a Poltergeist remake, and here's the poster, I'm going to say that's pretty much it. That's the perfect poster. It captures everything about the original. It's clearly new. I gotta say, though, I think we were talking in studio a little bit about this yesterday. I'm starting to smell failure. I hope not. We're getting really damn close to this movie, and we still have not seen much of it or from it, which raises some red flags for me. But I have liked the trailers I've seen. I like the casting. I like the stills that I've seen. So I'm going to remain optimistic. I like the poster. It's a buy.
It's a buy for the poster. The poster looks neat. Congratulations, guys. You made a cool poster. The movie as a whole, I'm starting to get nervous about as well because the trailers didn't do much for me. And maybe some of that is just the way that they market movies. If everybody's waiting for the Avengers to come into theaters, and then we can start promoting some other films too. But Poltergeist, to me, I was with you when we were talking yesterday. I'm starting to get a little nervous about this film. The poster itself, though, I mean, that's the iconic image everybody has from the first Poltergeist is that little girl looking into the TV with the snow on it. So to update that and put it into a new framework for more modern day, that's probably what it would look like. So, I like seeing the hands come out. It's kind of creepy. The poster's cool.
I sell it. It reminds me like I woke up in 1985. That's how it feels. It's like that Freddy Krueger pushing through the wall. It's ripped off straight out of Videodrome. I absolutely hate it.
I love Videodrome.
No, I love Videodrome. I hate that poster.
I'm not using otherwise. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. So, Sinead, what's in the mailbag today?
Tracy Allen writes, any news about Bad Boys 3? Keep up the good work.
Man, I kept hearing, like, never from any official channels, but a lot of rumblings for years that Michael Bay was keen on going back and revisiting Bad Boys. I've now been hearing that Will Smith is keen on doing it. Also, what's his name?
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, the guy who's serving fries lately.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a lot. Like, didn't he have a TV sitcom for a while,
Yeah,
too?
Martin was one of my favorite shows of the 90s.
Guys, he's sleeping on his pile of millions. Give him a break.
I don't know. He might have blown through those millions. But anyway, so clearly he's very interested in going back to Bad Boys 3. But myself personally, there might be a lot of official news out there that it's gone under my radar. So if you know of anything, drop it in the comment section. But I have not heard anything official about it at this point. Have either of you guys?
I heard just last week, unofficially, that Michael Bay was doing Transformers Bad Boys 3. It's like a weird part of the expansion of Transformers is like, they're going to be robots. It's going to be really cool.
Got real.
Will Smith has taken down big things before. So Will Smith is the guy you got to lock down for this. I love Martin Lawrence. You can catch him and me at the Comedy Store this weekend. But Martin Lawrence, I think, was the last official news that I had heard about this movie is that he confirmed that it was going to happen or something like that. That was back in August of last year.
That's like Tom Arnold saying, yes, we're doing a True Lies 2.
Right.
We're definitely doing a True Lies 2.
I had lunch with Arnold, and it's like, that's great. But same thing, I mean, Independence Day has enough momentum to get made without Will Smith being a part of it, but Bad Boys doesn't. I don't think you can bring in somebody else and replace Will Smith. I don't think you can bring in somebody else and replace Martin Lawrence for that matter. I think both of those guys are crucial to being in Bad Boys. Michael Bay doesn't have to be involved. I might not want to have Michael Bay involved, but those two dudes
He
have
brought
to be
the
in.
energy. Bad Boys 2 had so much frenetic, fun camera work, and that was mainly, Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Yeah. As hard of a time as I give Martin Lawrence and all that kind of stuff, I am all for seeing these two together again.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, with Michael Bay behind the camera, I'd completely be on board for Bad Boys 3.
All right.
Let's see what happens. All right, what's next?
Justin Cladbeck writes, hi gang, I love the shows and how much fun you all have together. I can tell you got something special
We don't
going
get
on.
along.
John Campia. What's wrong with you, kid? Do you watch this show?
You want Michael Bay to make every movie.
I can't believe Alice is talking about Michael Bay again. She's trying to move on and we're not done yet.
Justin
She
Cladbeck
hates us.
wants us to answer
We
this.
all.
Let her read the question.
No!
I'm periscoping all of this right now, guys.
All right. He says, we all know that James Cameron's film Stadium on top of the movie Mountain is
We
fun.
all hate Dennis Zhang. It's Dennis Zhang's fault because he kicks puppies. Look at him over there. He's smiling. He knows it's true.
You have to put the ball gag back
And
on.
Ray and Jonathan Volkia. We all hate everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the question?
Okay. I know that E.T. had that honor for a while. With the prices nowadays being $10 or more for a movie, is it fair to compare older hits to new hits in terms of who made more money? And would an older film surpass Avatar if it could have averaged a $10 ticket price tag?
the issue is actually more complex than just saying, well, what if old films also had what? And by the way, 2014, when you take into consideration matinee ticket prices, off weekend prices, special prices, premium prices, blah. When you take that all in, and you can look this up, the average ticket price for a movie in the United States in 2014 was $8.17. So that's the average ticket price, depending on where you live and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, so what if we made the average ticket price that in 1990? Well, but then you also have to consider this. The average household income in the United States of America in 2014 was $49,000. The average household income in the United States in 1990 was like $30,000, something like that. So you can't just take the prices of today and transfer them back 15 years ago and say, there, now it would be an even comparison. It's like, actually, no, because the circumstances are different. So there are so many variables that go into like cost and effect kind of ratios here that, you know what? Let's just go with whatever the number is and just kind of stick with it. Mark, how do you see it?
I wouldn't go that far though, because I mean, when people were going to see Gone with the Wind, it was like a nickel or a piece of popcorn.
Right,
like either one you could trade to go see the movie. But when you do adjust for inflation, Gone with the Wind has always been number one. Star Wars creeps up there. I think E.T. is way up there. Sound of Music is way up there. I don't think Avatar hits until I think it's like 14 or 15 on the list when you adjust for inflation. So I think there is some credibility to that when you're looking at just how many tickets actually sold, how many butts were actually in the seats to see a movie. And I think that you only have that, and then the Avengers are the only movies that have come out since 2000.
Right.
Titanic is close up there too, because a lot of people saw Titanic again and again and again and again in '97. But something like Gone with the Wind was a beast, and Gone with the Wind kept coming out in movie theaters. It had a run for like, I don't know, 40 years.
Well, right. Remember that. I mean, when you're talking about something like Gone with the Wind, history lesson, there was no cable, no television. I just had a Lyft driver asking me, like, I don't know what came first, television or cable. Were they both created at the same time? And I was like, basically, the ride here, I explained to her how, not just how we were cavemen at one point, but I gave her a quick lesson. Like, no, actually, first there was electricity, then radio, then television, then cable, and now the web, and now the world blows up. But, you know, so I was trying to explain to her, like, so you're talking about Gone with the Wind, and it's something like 5 cents. But remember, that was the only form of entertainment, like a very large form of entertainment, were the movies. They had cartoons at the beginning. There was this whole process where people really look forward to going to see the movies. Nowadays, movies are like larger, blockbuster, transformational event style things. We still have independent film, but there's just so many more options. You guys are watching us on, you know, a phone, or, you know, we're on the web, you know, so there's all these amazing new inventions. So the only thing that really hasn't changed is minimum wage. I think, you know, that's the one thing where it's like everything else gets more expensive or less expensive. These people still are getting the same little low, crappy amount. So I think minimum wage should go up, guys. That's what I have.
Well, the other thing you got to take into consideration too, going to your point, was that like back when Gone with the Wind was coming out, you weren't getting 17 nationwide release films every single month.
Right,
yeah.
You know, so I mean, so there's so many different variables. So one way you're looking at it is say, okay, take the average ticket price, figure out how many tickets were sold to that movie.
Yeah.
And maybe just go like that. But then you're getting what Schnepp was talking about. It's like there was no cable, there was no Xbox, there weren't 5 other films opening next week to compete against it and try to take away from it. So I'm not really sure what the best way is. I don't think the industry has figured out the best way. And so we just go, you know what? Given our current circumstances, our current economy, our current, you know, like realities here, this much for tickets, this is how much people make, this is how much competition there's, we just go by dollar value. I think there must be a better way, but I don't know what it is. But I'm sure somebody will come up with it sometime.
Well, the problem is none of us like each other and can stand being in the same room as each other long enough to figure out what that was.
Wait a sec. Here's another anecdote, guys, that I don't like hanging out with. Star Wars. Remember when that came out? It was almost like Gone with the Wind. Not technology hadn't changed that much. We still had TV. Mm-hmm. That was the big one. But that was pretty much it. We didn't have cable. We didn't have cell phones or the web or anything. So that's why even something like Star Wars, it was like repeat business. It stayed in theaters for over 2 years. It was just like, it was like a monster. People were like, I need to see that movie again. How do you see it again? Must go back to the theater. That was the only way to get that, you know, that release, to see that movie, you know?
All right, folks, listen, we don't only love taking your questions via email, we love taking your questions on Twitter as well. So tweet a question to us and just include the hashtag AMC Movie Talk. That way it comes to us and we can actually read it. So, Sinead, what is in the Twitter sphere?
Chuck Sherwood tweets, is the new Avengers worth seeing in 3D? My guess is 2D would be just fine.
I am absolutely the wrong guy to ask because I don't believe any movie is worth seeing in 3D. AMC doesn't like it when I say that.
Cut his mic.
But it's I'm not a fan of 3D. I will always choose a 2D option over 3D option. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. I will preclude myself from this discussion and let you guys take it. What do you think? You've both seen Avengers, so
I saw it in normal 2D. I think what was it, like 3 weeks ago, right, guys?
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't seen it in 3D yet. But you know what? I'm one of those people who actually like seeing all these big budget movies non 3D. But when I have seen some of the 3D ones, it's been fantastic and a lot of fun. I've seen also some really bad conversions, where you're like, oh, why is everything blurry? And I have a headache now. So it depends on the studio and what they're doing. If they really, I thought Prometheus was really well done in 3D because they shot it in true 3D. So you say what you will about the film, but it looked incredible and it had this scope and 3D-ishness because it was shot in 3D. So that's what I'd say. If a movie's shot in 3D and they were like really going for it and the cameras were put in the right perspective and they're doing stuff that makes it worth seeing in 3D, then I'd say go see it in 3D.
I will say this, though. One of the very few movies, there are a couple movies I've not minded watching in 3D. Obviously, one is Avatar. I mean, that one was done so beautifully. Prometheus, even though I wasn't a fan of the movie, done very well. But one of the best examples of 3D I've ever seen was actually one that was post-converted to 3D, and it wasn't even that great of a movie, that Paul Bettany, Carl Urban film, Priest.
Yeah,
a couple years ago. But they literally spent, most 3D conversions would be about 3 months they'll take to do it. They literally spent like almost a year doing their they took their time with it. And then when you watch, it's like, this is actually pretty damn good 3D. So, but it's all about the amount of time and attention to detail.
The movie was poopy, though. It was like a bunch of dumb vampires. Carl Urban was good. I wish it was. I didn't see it in 3D.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have changed my mind if I saw it in 3D.
I didn't hate Priest, and I enjoyed it in 3D. I saw Gone with the Wind in 3D for 5 cents and a buffalo
How did
nickel.
you see Gone with the Wind in 3D, Marcus? Are you a magician?
I actually would say, yeah, I would see Avengers Age of Ultron in 3D. It's a fun event film. You got to do a little bit of scouting, though. You got to make sure that the glasses that the theater's going to provide for you aren't the really heavy ones. Make sure there's the cool, like, smaller ones so that it doesn't feel like you're wearing, like, dental headgear for 2.5 hours.
Explain the reason those heavy ones, it's basically the frames are flipping every half, it's flipping back and forth. That's why you have those heavy ones.
Yeah, but it still looks cool in 2D, and I would say the better investment for your dollar is going to be making sure you see it in like a AMC Prime or something like that, where you're in the best theater before you worry about visually if it's going to be 2D or 3D. Make sure you're in like an IMAX or IMAX kind of like experience before you go into the visuals.
All right, what's next?
Jordan O tweets, have you guys heard any developments with the potential Metal Gear Solid movie?
Not a lot, except I believe it was like 1 month ago, and I think it was like the guy who wrote Monsters hyphen something. Anyway, that Sony did close a deal with a screenwriter to get the script written. I know they have a director attached. So things are moving, nothing more than that. But as of just a month ago, Sony does have the wheels in motion. So I don't think there's any reason to believe that it's not going to happen and happen sometime pretty soon. Have you guys heard anything different?
I haven't, but I think that Metal Gear's doing it right. Is that they're waiting for another video game franchise film to finally be good before they throw their hat into the ring. This is such a beloved thing by gamers that you don't want to do this the wrong way. Let's make a couple good video game films before we throw Metal Gear into the mix.
I would say, you guys out there, guys and gals, please make a poster, monster hyphen something, and because I want to see that. Metal Gear Solid. I don't know when they're going to make that movie, but you're right. They have to let's get a couple of those.
Let's
big
get over
hits.
the Mendoza line before we do that. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for us for this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing in AMC theaters right now, and Avengers: Age of Ultron's opening this week, folks. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and of course your movie ticket information. If you want an audio only version of this episode, look in the description of this video and you'll find a link to our podcast feed. Most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep you up to date on AMC Movie Talk every day. AMC Heroes, AMC Jedi Council, coming soon, Rewind, Mailbag, AMC Indie Spotlight. So many cool things going on here. Stay up to date. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank, first of all, the guy sitting at the table with me, sitting right over here, the director of the upcoming The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, playing in Los Angeles this weekend. I'm going to be a moderator at one thing. I'm going to talk about your time in prison and your dad and Schnepp. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at John Schnepp at TDOSLWH. And yeah, if you're in the Los Angeles area, come to the premiere this Thursday, May 30th. I think it's sold out, but May 1st and 2nd. Campbell will be there May 1st. Kevin Smith will be there May 2nd. It's going to be crazy.
He
so.
always refuses to show up when I'm there.
I
What's
know.
up with that?
It was say he was
What's
telling me,
up
it was
with
like,
that?
I hate everyone on AMC Movie Talk except for you, Schnepp. You're the best.
You're the best.
Except for you, Schnepp. You're the best.
Mr. Mark
He said
Ellis.
it just like that.
Mark, where can people find you?
You can actually catch me at the premiere of John's movie, or at least the after party, on Thursday night. You can catch me online, 5150 Ellis. I'll be on AMC Rewind with Alicia Malone and Scott Mantz this week, and I wasn't joking. Martin Lawrence has popped into the Comedy Store in LA the last couple weeks, and I'll be there this weekend too.
Our lovely host, Sinead DeFries, who will be joining me and doing coverage with myself and Ashley at the opening night of Avengers Age of Ultron at the AMC Burbank 16. Keep your eye open for us floating around there. Miss Sinead DeFries, Sinead, where can people find you online?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Sinead DeFries and at thatsosinead.com.
And follow her pocket on her shirt at Sinead's Pocket. It's going to become #1 Twitter trender worldwide. I don't know why I just said that. Anyway, you can...
What's in the pocket? It's always something new. That's it. Just
Right, keep my guitar picks.
My certs. My chicklet. My one chicklet.
And you can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, just at John Campion. That'll do it for us, guys. My name's John Campion for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.